Hello and welcome back to PowerWash Simulator. When we last left off, we had done a bit of cleaning out here. And now that we are done in this area, we're going to move on into the internal area. We got this big bit right here. Don't think there's any dirt on top of that. Hopefully it's not. Oh. It's about yeah, that's not in order. Let's get down here. Okay. Done. That one right there. And clean whatever this is supposed to be. It looks like it's supposed to be either a fence or a finger trap, and I can't tell which. Either way. Let's get back here. Right, we were cleaning this right here. Okay. So I've been thinking a little more about streaming for the channel, and I'm gonna have to check into whether or not that's even something I can do, because I believe, I'm trying to remember if it's tied to any specific thing. I don't know if it is, but yeah, I'm gonna have to check and see if that's like tied to analytics, like you have to hit a certain milestone before you're allowed. And I want to say the answer is no, but I also don't want to assume. Let's stick that right there for now. Oh, that's an error. We'll keep over here. Again, I don't want to assume the answer is yes. I don't want to assume the answer is no. But we'll see. But if it is in fact not, I may try to do a stream a week, but we'll have to see. There we go. Sometimes you just gotta cheese it up a wall. But it would be a question of what would be appropriate to stream for the channel. If yeah. If I do in fact come to be doing it, what would be appropriate? What would people want to see? That's the question that needs answering. I have a couple of games that I was doing when I was still doing Twitch, like I said before. You know, I was doing Dragon Age Inquisition, and I was doing Far Cry 5. Those were the games I was doing. And I was swapping between the two, and I think I might have been doing something else, but like, unfortunately, those VODs are gone, because it's been that long. Um, I'm super tempted, though, to sit down and figure that out, though. And I know it's been a really long time since I've played Inquisition. It has, actually. I think the last time I did boot the game up was to stream. Which, it makes me sad, because I do love the game. Uh, but, it's really easy to lose motivation for stuff. And I mean, I'd be lying if I said that I was 100% doing it just for me. Um, I wanted to. It would have been nice to have a decent audience. I was mostly streaming to myself, though. Uh, and I'm trying not. You know, I know you gotta start at the ground level. And I'm always really happy for the subscribers and the watchers that I do have. But it is, even if you are doing it for yourself, it can be a little demotivating. Uh, Motivating, is that the word I want? It can be I'll just say it can be a bit of a bummer, regardless of how you're viewing the situation. I'm not trying to be, you know, world's greatest next big streamer or anything. Or world's greatest next big YouTuber. Because realistically speaking, like, that's not realistic. But it is hard to say, oh yeah, no, I'm totally doing this 100% for myself. Because I'm not. And this to suggest otherwise is, well, I mean, it's kind of asinine, actually. Like, it's, I know and you know that at the end of the day, this goes nowhere if there's, like, no engagement. And it's very easy, like I said, to lose motivation, despite the fact that I really do enjoy doing this. Um, and honestly, that's why I stopped doing Dragon Quest. I stopped having fun playing it. That's a lot. Dragon Quest is a game that can be quite an undertaking. I remember playing 8, and I remember, like, I never finished that either. I finished the game, but I never got to go back and do the full after game content. I'd never got the proper ending of the game. Partially because I burnt out of it, and partially because I think my PlayStation died. And unfortunately, that's one of those games it was, I think, only on the PlayStation, and then it was released for the 3DS in a different version, and yeah, no, I don't know. As much as I'm eager and keen on the idea, though, like, I think it's important to be realistic about goals. And my goal isn't, like I said, my goal isn't like, oh yeah, I've got to have 1 million subscribers and I've got to have, you know, all these, you know, sponsorships and brand deals and all this other stuff. I just want to play video games, but it would be nice if, you know, there were people out there. It it can be a vibe. It can kind of be a vibe killer. Otherwise, and I think not admitting that is a disservice both to you, or to me, and to people who end up watching. Let's add it. You're really not gonna let me put this here. Okay, fine. Let's see if we can't. There we go. It's one wall. I think we're gonna come around like this. Then we will do this bit. I've also been thinking of about the upload schedule. Because admittedly, yeah, I would have loved to move from a 3-day schedule to a full 7-day schedule, but I also know myself well enough to know that that's probably not feasible. At least not currently. So I think I changed it in the channel information, but it is just gonna be 3 days. Um, I have feelings about that, sure, but you know, it's important to get to a point where no, this is just not something that I can do. No, recognize what you are and are not capable of doing, and know your strengths, know your weaknesses, know your limits. If you say you don't have limits, you're. I'm sorry, friend, you're lying to yourself. 'Cause- and that sounds like burnt out form. That sounds like people pleasing. You know, I can do anything. Yeah, until you have to do it all, and then you're tired, and then you don't want to anymore, and then you hate the world because you're exhausted. You know how that works. I go get the ladder then. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, no, being honest with yourself about your limits is like incredibly crucial. No, don't lie to yourself. Don't don't delude yourself into believing that, oh yeah, no, I'm fine. If you're actually fine, cool. But if you're not, it's important to acknowledge that. And I know myself well enough to know that I would get a couple weeks, I would get a few weeks, 2, 3 weeks into doing it, and I would be tired and miserable. And that's no fun. So, instead of doing that to myself and to y'all, I'm not gonna. Hmm. So, it'll stay 3 days. And it'll stay one game at a time. Because I love myself. And trying to do anything else is just not gonna fly. So that's... Make some more progress on this section. We are gonna need the ladder again, though. As you can see, there's still more dirt. There we go. There we go. And while we're up here, and we will continue on that. I recognize that I've gone and cleaned around the walls, but that's kind of what I wanted to do, so I kind of want to get the walls before I do anything else. The floor's kind of a pain, and there's a lot of it, so... So, instead of trying to do anything silly, like clean an entire section in one go, we're just gonna take it bit by bit. In that. And get all that. Yeah, I really like skate parks. I can't skate though. I always wanted to learn, but I was always really afraid that like it would go poorly. And it's not because of anything other than like I'm a big dude. I'm like not height wise, but I'm a chunky dude. And I'm okay with that. Other probably isn't, but I am. I've made my peace with it. You kinda have to, actually. Um, but being a chunky dude, I am terrified of getting on a skateboard because I'm afraid that I'm gonna go and do something and it's gonna snap like a twig and I'm gonna feel the repercussions of that one. And the last thing I need, and like, I'm not afraid that somebody's gonna laugh. Well, okay, that's a lie. I will admit that I'm not terribly keen on the idea of being laughed at like that, but, like, in the grand scheme of things, of all the things I'd be worried about, being laughed at is the least of them. Snapping a snapping a skateboard and ending up with it embedded in me now, that's another issue altogether. And unfortunately, like, my hometown, where I live, because I do still live in my hometown, uh, is absolutely got a skate park. I mean, now, it's got a park now. Didn't used to. Actually, I think the option for that, uh, oh, there we go. That's fine. But yeah, no, I dig skate parks. Just would feel like I didn't have anything to do and going and taking pictures at a skate park isn't necessarily something I'd feel comfortable doing, mostly because, like, photographing people is kind of one of those things, and that's not an undertaking you take like you do lightly. Um, like, you don't just go and snap a couple pictures of people. Especially if you're gonna put that stuff online, you 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 want people's permission for that. Like, there's a whole ethical debate behind, you know, do you need to get people to sign off when you're taking their pictures in public, or do you not? And I am staunchly of the opinion that you absolutely do, and personally, I believe that it's one of those things that keeps people from doing not great stuff like taking pictures of people for the sake of making fun of them. Actually, why, uh, years ago, they're probably still around, but years ago there was a site called People of Walmart. And People of Walmart was one of those, yes, look at these people. And it would be stuff like, a guy in like a onesie or something, or somebody wearing some ridiculous get up or something like that. That's ugh. Like, I thought it was kind of funny at first, but like, as further on I got with it, it's like, okay, no, this feels cruel. This feels questionable at at the very best. And so I stopped bothering with the site. I feel better about sites like, Overheard, because there's like no real identifying information there. I'm not gonna accidentally stumble across someone's personal information in on Overheard. And, sites like people at Walmart, if I'm remembering correctly, I don't know if they like blurred people's faces or anything. I think they might have, but it still felt like a gross invasion of privacy. So, yeah, that. Let's get that. So, if I ever did, it, there we go. That's what I wanted. If I ever did something like that, it would absolutely have to be with full permission of the people there. Like, I don't know if I would necessarily need to go as far as doing waivers, but but maybe that's just me. But I know that is an ethical debate that does exist in the photography community. And I am not a photographer. I am a hobbyist. And, question could be said, oh, well, if you're a hobbyist, you're a photographer. But, yeah, but, it's kind of like the people who are of the opinion that, I'm not really a writer because I don't professionally produce work. Or I'm not really an artist because I don't, again, professionally produce work. That's a debate for another, or that can be raging on forever. Because there's always going to be somebody that's like, well, I feel like this, and people are entitled to their feelings on that particular subject. But I do still like skate parks. Maybe one day I will try and grab my camera on, I don't know, maybe a rainy day or something and head down to the skate park in my area. And take pictures, because I also like urban photography, and I wouldn't ever do urbex photography, mostly because I don't feel comfortable doing something like that. Not because it's necessarily illegal, though it typically is. Like a lot of people, I don't know if they'll arrest you for being in those areas, but they certainly, I think, cite you. And I don't, I don't need that. Also, you know, and the desire to explore is great, but the desire to not deal with weird creepiness is even greater. So, that. And I think we we're gonna switch to that nozzle and we're gonna take care of that. I think this should get us to 40%. And that's our next message, and I think it might start opening up the next area. I think that's how that goes. I can never remember. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, didn't. Okay, so we'll clean this one too. Do like this one too, though. I know I've said it before, but it feels very graffiti. Like, proper, something you actually would see at a skate park graffiti. Something you would see outside of a building. So kudos to the art team. Hmm. Okay. Like, right. Right. Okay. I have more to clean before it hits that 40%. Also, it just dawned on me that I'm gonna have to do that loop. And honestly, can't say I'm looking forward to it. Because that loop is a pain. But, hey there, I've got one heck of a filthy sidecar. If you can fit us in, I can run it up to you if that helps. Sure, Sue. That would help. There's one thing about I know about concrete is that it likes to be as flat as possible. Yep, a lot of you can get self-leveling. I'm gonna need to go back up on the wall. Let's see. Let's go back up because I need to clean this. There we go. Good enough. Game says good enough. I think I mentioned pretty early on that there's some DLC for this. Uh, there's a SpongeBob SquarePants DLC, and I distinctly remember announcing that one. Um, I don't know if I'm gonna do the SpongeBob DLC. I know I've got like the Tomb Raider DLC and the Final Fantasy VII Remake DLC. But again, I don't know how likely I am to it. I don't know if that's like in the standard career play. I can't remember. But I do know that we are getting to that last wall. And we are going to lose that Stussy as a result. But, you know, it happens. We're as cool as the graffiti is, I would love, to see the files for that. I wonder if you can get into the game and see those. Oh, Yeah. Because while I would love, like, I know how to draw Stussy, but there are a couple of pieces of graffiti in here that I think are really fascinating and really, proof of, at the very least, understanding of urban graffiti. Um, I will say on the subject about Banksy, I don't care for Banksy. Maybe it's a controversial opinion, but I do not care for that man. Uh, I've got a myriad of opinions on the matter, and I can't 100% say they're pleasant ones, or particularly kind. So, I'm gonna avoid that. We're gonna avoid that conversation. Um, and yeah, I know I brought it up, but, like, it is topical, so. But, I think people really like graffiti. I think you should consider getting into we want a multi-purpose cleaner. And we want, because it's faster. Um I think I'm like gonna have to manually clean it. Goodbye, Stussy. There we go. Oh, that's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Oh, that's also not what I wanted, because I'm gonna need to clean this too. Oh, okay. There we go. Okay. So I think, what are we gonna clean next? I think let's let's do one. Let's do the upside of the loop. Actually, I think we can get away. Yes. Okay. So we're gonna use the 40°. We're going to clean as much of the outer loop as possible. On this side, we're gonna come down. So it's not perfect, but does get a fair amount of it clean. Okay. You go back up. And then we clean from the other. We clean down to the other side. And when we finish this, we will do the, depending on how it goes, we'll do the sidecar, and then we'll do the boot. Start on the boot house. Okay. Now we can, because that is in fact strength 25 here. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty okay. Okay. So it absolutely needs the 15. We'll just... also cleaning sides. There we go. Because I don't want to get on the ladder more than I need to, because it can be a bit fussy. And there we go. And we will change to the 15 so we can get more the dirt. That is in fact the only problem with using the wider nozzles. It is technically easier to clean up to start, but eventually it just kind of gets to a point where you're like, no, I'm gonna have to go back. Yeah, looks like I got it. Let me use this. This. Because it's right here. There we go. Okay. Right. I think that means that we clean this now. And then we're absolutely not gonna finish this in this video. There's absolutely no way that's getting finished in this one. So, I think I'll go for just shy of 10 more minutes. But I want to start doing something, and I think I will start um I want to say I'll start in the next video, but maybe when I'm done with this I will start doing it. But I want to start asking more of your opinion. And see what you have to say on a particular subject. I would love to know what y'all have to think. And it's not gonna be anything, like, deep and philosophical. It's gonna be like, oh, what's your favorite color? Oh, so if you could have a have any superpower, what would it be? Stuff like that. Sometimes it might be related to what's being played, but for the most part, it's just for laughs. And I'm on the ladder. I don't want to be on the ladder. Let's move you there. Wait, you're out of the way. Actually, since we've done that much, let's do another one of these. Do one of these. And then we have our barrier. And yeah, no, like there won't be, earth-shattering, philosophical questions that challenge the mind, or just like, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite video game? Oh, no, what was your first game console? That's a good one. I'm old. I'm not gonna say I'm old. I'm not like, I'm not in my 60s, 70s, anything like that. But people generally look at me funny when I tell them how old I am, because it's like, you're not that old. No, I am. There's nothing wrong with being old. Just to get deep and philosophical on a situation that's not meant to be deep or philosophical, we have a really screwed perception of aging in Western society. And I'm saying Western society because it doesn't stop with the States, and that's where I am. There we go. Yeah, we don't stop. We, like, I'm not saying, you have to like, treat every older person with, like, deep reverence, because sometimes people, old or not, I should say, They're patently terrible people. And, like, them being older doesn't make that right. Um, kind of like the debate of, such and such is from a different time. Yeah, and doesn't mean a whole lot. Well, there are plenty of people from a different time. Doesn't mean diddly. It means neither diddly nor squat. And I think that's a, kind of an important thing to consider. Age doesn't necessarily always mean someone being older than you doesn't necessarily mean that they're necessarily wiser than you. It just means that they've had more life experience than you. That's all. And I think we kind of, as a society, I think we kind of need to understand that. Just because I may be older than you doesn't mean that your life experience doesn't count or doesn't matter, and it doesn't mean that, like, you don't have world experience. I just might have more of it than you. But, like, your experiences in the world aren't gonna be mine. So, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I think I'm mostly just rambling. Do one of these. Get ourselves more clean. Make sure that we're being mindful of obstacles, rails, and other bits and bobs. I think it is nearly time to call this video good. In fact, I think what we're gonna do is change that back to 15 because it's stronger. And then we are gonna clean that. There we go. And actually, I think that's where we're gonna call it. So I have been Dorknut. This has been PowerWash Simulator, and when we come back, we are going to continue on cleaning up the skate park. And if you enjoyed this video, or any of the videos in this series, or any of my videos ever, please consider giving this a like, consider giving the channel a subscribe, and if you're already subscribed, consider leaving, hitting that notification bell so you know when I upload, even if it is really regular. But yeah, come see me again, won't you? Goodbye.